Imagine the following scene. A home that was a refuge of peace and tranquility becomes a true battlefield into just 30 days. Light and water accounts have fired on stratospheric values, while the previously well-stocked refrigerator now looks like a desert after looting passage. But the worst was yet to come. Upon arriving earlier from work, the housewife faces a dantesque picture. Her own dining table has become the scene of a family feast without the slightest warning or invitation. Get out of here now, and don't dare to set foot here before 8 in the night. This is not the opening of a horror movie, but the reality that has slaughtered about a woman who has always been proud of her unshakable patience. 6 years dealing with furious customers in a large company taught her to keep calm in the most tense situations. But no spreadsheet or report prepared her for what she saw at that moment: her husband's mother, enthroned at the head of the table, surrounded by her daughter and son-in-law, voraciously devouring the premium mortadella she had bought the day before for a salty price. The shock was so great that for a moment she doubted her own sanity. In his own kitchen, he has just been humiliated, expelled as an intruder, while the visitor saved not only his food, but also the wine they kept for a special night. His eyes traveled the scene, the half-empty bottles, the last pieces of cheese that saved for the weekend, the satisfied faces of her husband's family. 4 weeks. It was enough for 4 weeks for that woman to transform her cozy home into a disrespect republic. It all started with a seemingly harmless request. Son, I have renovations at home. Can I stay with you just a week? The husband, without blinking, accepted. After all, what bad would there be to help her own mother for a few days? But a week became two. Two turned three. And when she least expected, a month later, she came home 2 hours earlier and came across a party in full swing as if the house were theirs. The first signs of alert appeared with the accounts. The value that previously barely surpassed the 3 digits now bordered the absurd. Until, one day, she caught the washing machine connected for the third time in a single day, television and air conditioning working in full vapor in empty rooms, and the kitchen tap gushing hot water unnecessarily. Then came the foods that mysteriously disappear. First, small items: a butter box, a pot of sour cream, half a bread. Then the most expensive products: smoked salmon, fine cheeses, special meat cuts. When he tried to talk to her husband, he heard only lame excuses. Mother likes to eat well. It's just for now. And now, standing at the kitchen door, I watched such a lover of good food and his entourage devouring what was left of his reservations. What are you doing here? He managed to ask, ignoring the insult that was still echoing in the air. Hey, what's wrong? The sister-in-law replied with a fake smile. Mom invited us to lunch. To have lunch? In your home? Without even consulting it. To that, the brother-in-law cut. We just came to pinch a little. You weren't even here. The mother-in-law then crossed her arms with the air of superiority. Your sister-in-law has every right to come to her brother's house. She felt the anger boil. First, this is my house, my and your son. Second, you promised to stay a week, and 4 have passed. Ungrateful. He put the mother-in-law. I take care of my son, cook real food for him, not this crap that you serve. A quick look through the kitchen denied the statement. No pan on the fire, no dirty frying pan, no trace that something beyond the looting of the stock of others had been prepared there. And where is this food Arvillus you make for him? He challenged, containing the trembling voice. This is not your account, reported the woman. I told you to disappear. Do not be pointed out. 6 years of training to deal with difficult customers. 6 years improved self-control. Everything collapsed in a matter of seconds. Do you know one thing? He said, with a calm that surprised her. He'd arrives. He turned his back, left the kitchen, and locked himself in the room. His hands trembled as he took the phone. On the other side, her husband's voice sounded relaxed. Hi, love. How are you work? No, well, he replied, with a frightening serenity. I'm home. Your mother gave her sister and brother-in-law a party. They ate our food. They drank our wine. And when I arrived, she called me a disgusting creature and told me to leave. There was a silence on the other side. You must have understood it wrong, he said. My mother would never say such a thing. Something inside her left. Come here and see with your own eyes. He hung up and made another call. Hello, real estate. I would like to schedule visits to rent a one-room apartment. It marked 3 options for the next day. As he arranged his suitcase, he heard his laughs echoing from the kitchen. No one had even noticed his absence. 40 minutes later, her husband ran. Upon entering the room, he found her with her luggage ready. What's going on? He asked, confused, looking at his bags. I'm leaving, he replied, dries. Your mother and sister are waiting for you in the kitchen. You can continue the party. Wait, he held his arm. Let's talk. What about how did your mother become our house upside down? about the accounts that tripled, about her humiliating me in my own home. I'm sure there's a mistake, he insisted. Let's talk to her. They went to the kitchen. Seeing her son, the mother-in-law let Vadim. What a surprise. Want a piece of sausage? The visibly embarrassed husband looked at her. Mom, Irina said you offended her and told her to leave. The woman's face closed. What a silly. It was just a joke. Your wife has no sense of humor. I understood very well, she countered firmly. I'd understood the game. I understood the guests without permission. Understood the products that disappear. Your husband needs to hospitalize you through her sister-in-law. We only came to visit Mom. And why is Mom here for a month if she was going to spend a week? Asked her husband with a hardness she had never heard before. The reform delayed. His mother-in-law shrugged. It's not my fault. And what is Irina's fault? He pressed. Why treat her like this? It's not any fault. It was just a joke. The woman justified. Your wife doesn't know how to take it in the sport. She watched everything silent, feeling a void in her chest. 6 years of marriage, and everything seemed to crumble in minutes, until suddenly her husband turned to her mother. Do you know, Mom, I think it's time for you to come home. What? The woman stood out indignant. But the reform is not over. I called the Master of Works yesterday, he said calmly. He said everything has been ready for 2 weeks. The silence that followed was deafening. She looked at her husband, astonished. Did you call the Master of Works? Yes, he admitted, with a tone of guilt. I realized that she was not in a hurry to leave and decided to check. The mother-in-law paled. So what? I have the right to. It didn't matter what she had to say anymore. What mattered is that for the first time someone had taken their pains. And that, at that moment, was enough. You have the right to be her son, Vadim agreed, but with a firmness that left no room for discussion. What you do not have is the right to humiliate my wife or turn our house into a meeting point with Christina. In fact, he threw a sharp look toward the sister-in-law. She has a 3-bedroom apartment. Right. Christina and Artem they exchanged an embarrassed look. I think we better go, Artem murmured, starting to get up from the table. To sit. Anastasia Germanovna's cry echoed through the room like a shot. Her fingers stuck into the tablecloth. The white nodes of so tight. No one goes nowhere. Vadim, think about what you're doing. This is your family. Vadim did not blink. His voice, though low, cut the air like a blade. Irina, this is my family. He turned to his mother, his eyes so serious that even the air seemed to freeze. And I want everyone to leave my house today. What came later was a whirlwind of brutal emotions. Anastasia Germanovna shouted, her insults mixed with veiled threats. You will regret it. Your ingratitude has no limits. Christina cried, the tears dripping through a face that, until then, only knew the mask of superiority. Artem, desperate, tried to mediate, but his words were lost in the whirlwind. It was no use. Vadim was a rock. He called a taxi on his cell phone. Then, with a calm that scared, he helped his mother together to put her things together, the coats thrown on the couch, the bag forgotten in the armchair, the shoes scattered throughout the entrance. In less than 2 hours, the apartment was empty. The silence that was installed after the door was closed so dense that it seemed to have weight. Irina and Vadim remained real estate in the corridor, as if the smallest movement could break the fragile balance of that moment. Pardon me. It was Vadim who broke the silence first. The hoarse voice. I should have seen what was happening long before. She looked at the suitcase still leaning against the wall near the door. The suitcase that had begun to fix that same morning, determined to leave. I was leaving. I know. He held his hands. His fingers intertwined with hers as if he feared she could disappear. And I wouldn't blame you. But your throat's squeezed. I hope, from the bottom of my heart, that you stay. 6 years of marriage was no joke. But what had happened that day was not something that could be swept under the rug. Irina hesitated. The weight of the non-spoken words, the swallowed tears, the nights when he felt alone beside him, all the throbbing between them. We need to talk about many things. His voice came out firm, despite the tremor in his hands. Vadim nodded, relieved that she did not say no. I agree. And let's start with new rules. Its tone left no margin for negotiation. No one else puts your feet here without warning you before. No one is more than 3 days. And he emphasized the next word as if it were an oath. No one has the right to disrespect you. Never again. Irina felt something inside her, something hard, something that had been closed for a long time, start loosening. And your mother? She will survive. Vadim's answer was immediate, almost sharp. If it doesn't survive, it's her problem, not ours. That night they spoke until dawn. Vadim confessed that he had noticed his mother's manipulations, but the fear of confrontation was paralyzing him. Irina, in turn, revealed the pain of feeling invisible, of seeing her husband silent as she was crushed. When the sun began to dawn, something between them had changed. It wasn't a happy ending, it was a fresh start, and this time, with limits that no one would dare to cross.